Okay.
Anyway, welcome to the Aging, Social and Disabilities Committee meeting of Community Board 6, October 24th, 2023, October 23rd, 2023. And let's see what the agenda is. I had an agenda in front of me at one point. Here we are. So we have the committee. We have committee members here. We have I'm the chair of the committee, and we have LT. You know, I don't know if I know how to pronounce your last name, LT. LT Chaco, is that right?
Chachio.
Chachio.
Joni loves Chachi, but with an
Joni loves Chachi. I grew up in Massapequa. I should know all this anyway. But and Sherry Rolnick is here. And is here by phone. That makes our quorum. Mark Laster and Anicia Haya, who are previous co-chairs of the committee, have been nice enough to sit in. Judy Berman, who's a friend of the community board, is also sitting in, and then the meeting is about two or three things. The first thing on the agenda says proposed webinar status of nursing homes post-COVID, and I've been trying to put that together. We're looking to get 3 speakers. We're looking to get a speaker from the nursing home operators. We're looking to get a residents, patients advocate, and we're looking to get an elected official. Rich Pollitt, who's the executive director of Long Care Community Coalition, which is a residents advocacy group, has agreed to appear on the webinar. Senator Adabo, who also does work in that area, has reaching out to Senator Rachel May, who is from Syracuse, and has been involved in that more directly than Senator Adabo. We have not received a response from her either way. I will check again with the senator's office. To be honest with you, most likely on Wednesday, because I'm busy tomorrow during business hours, but I'll have some time on Wednesday to check it in. The one of the larger groups that trade organizations, or whatever their official title is, that represents the nursing home operators, the New York Facilities Association has said that they cannot provide a speaker. I'm not sure what we're going to do about that. There are a lot of different things to do. There's an alternative group, which I don't know of any. We can invite somebody from that group. I will speak to Senator Adabo about it when I speak, or his office about it, when I speak to them later in the week. It's possible that if State Senator May shows up and Pollitt showed up, that they might be interested in coming to the meeting themselves. More on that as it happens. And that's that agenda item. If anybody has anything else they want to say about that topic, this would be the time to say something. Are you hearing this all right?
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, moving to the next topic. The next topic is intergenerational webinars. I sent out a preliminary email on intergenerational webinars. The intergenerational webinars have been traditionally been sponsored by Common Point Queens, by Queens Community House, by this committee, and by the education committees of Committee Board 6, which Sherry is and the Education Community Board 9. So I sent out a preliminary email. I had a lot of interest coming back. We've set up which I hope is not a webinar, but whatever we do, we set up a meeting for this time next Monday, and everybody's welcome to attend. I've sent out invitations, and everybody's welcome to attend. And the purpose of that meeting would be to see what topics we want to do and whether or not we have the people available to do them. Pat, we've been hoping that you would be able to coordinate something in connection with Pride Month in June, and we'll see what other topics people are interested in working on. Is that did I speak okay, Pat? Did I say too much?
No, it's fine.
And so we'll have that meeting next Monday actually that's scheduled for 6:30. because Common Point is providing the tech for Queens Community House has had budget. I won't use the word budget cuts, but they've it might be budget cuts, but the way it's been presented to me, they've reshuffled their priorities, so they may not be available to co-sponsor. Now, we've been getting our teenagers through programs that are run by Queens Community House, but I think that we have other sources of teenagers. Both Heather and I have a 17-year-olds in the house, so there's teenagers right there, and also through other things that we've been working on, breaking bread, building bonds, and things that are going on in the high school and things that are going on in some of the religious groups. I have a feeling we'll be able to get an adequate number of teenagers to participate in the program. And that's all I have to say on that matter. If anybody else wants to say anything, I don't know more about that.
Bruce, just a technical question. Next Monday's meeting, you're going to have Christine set it up, or are we going to use?
No, Fudge's setting it up.
Oh, you spoke to Fudge. Okay, so she's going to be using Common Point. Okay, good. So that's going to be a Zoom, folks. It's not going to be WebEx.
God.
So there is a chance that we will be able to do that efficiently.
I don't understand why we have to use WebEx when I just came out from the CEC, how you call what they've been presented to us on the CEC, like the parliamentary and the committees, different things, and they do it on Zoom. So why we have to do it on WebEx?
I would take that up with that's above my pay grade, I guess. But I'll talk to Frank and Christine about it and see what they have to say. And that's all the agenda items I have. I've had a chance to speak to some of you individually since our last meeting. The nursing homes and the intergenerational webinars have been a carryover from last year's agenda, as has another issue, the issue of Medicaid renewals. That's also been a carryover, and we'll talk about that in connection with what I'm about to talk about. And the Medicaid carryover, Mark, you want to talk about Medicaid carryovers for a second or two?
Yeah. So this is a thing that I know has been floating around since last year. So during the pandemic, you were not required to recertify either your Medicaid or any health insurance you got on the New York State Exchange. So since the emergency is over, the state is now requiring you to recertify both your Medicaid as well as any of your programs on the New York State Exchange. So starting this past June, they started sending out recertification packages. There's going to be 9 million people who have to recertify between now and probably, I think, next June. And of those 9 million people, 2.1 million people live in Queens. So there's a tremendous need to get the word out. And so we were able to speak to somebody from Queens Jewish Community Council. Queens Jewish Community Council has hired a person who's responsible for doing outreach and educating the community. Bruce and I met with her on Friday, and she sent some data. So as of now, just as the concern that we have, the data indicated since they started doing this in June till now, about 75% of the people have recertified, which means about 25% have not, which is scary. And when you lose your Medicaid, I can tell you from experience, it takes 2 seconds to turn it off. It takes 2 months to get it back. So what we would like to do is we spoke to her, and a few months ago, this committee had a presentation from Representative State Department of Health. So we were thinking about trying to invite this woman from Queens Jewish Community Council to kind of give us an update And we actually still have the slides from the State Department of Health presentation. So instead of reaching out to the state, we were thinking about having this person come in. I could probably go through the slides as much as the state can, and then we would have her kind of give the update, and then maybe brainstorm about how we can educate the community about the importance of this. Because again, the only way that you know you're losing your health insurance if you don't do your research is you have a little surprise when you go to the doctor's office, hand them your card, they say sorry, it's down. So there's really no other way that kind of people find out. You're not going to get a notice. So it's really important to try to put this really in people's heads. And I know the state has begun to do commercials. I think you see some stuff on bus stops. You see some ads. I think they've been running commercials. But we know the most effective way to reach out to people is through the grassroots. So we'd like to try to do this in the near future, up to the committee. Because right now, so far, we have the intergenerational, we've got the nursing home, and now I guess we're suggesting as a third program this this topic about Medicaid research, and they call it unwinding, which I think is kind of confusing, but that's the official term for it. It's called unwinding. So that's a little bit of information about this area. So I guess up to the committee. When do you
So-
want us to target these programs?
So this is what I'd like to do now. As I've spoken to and I've spoken to LT and Shari and a little bit to Pat about this. I just want to go around and give everybody a chance to talk about their suggestions for things that the committee ought to be doing over the next few months, and then we'll see what the list is, and we'll see if we can fit it all in to our schedules. I don't know who to begin with. I don't know. Pat, do you want to begin? Do you have anything you want to talk about?
No, go to the next person, please.
Okay, LT, I know you were talking about some items when we chatted. No, I can't hear you.
I always do that. Mark, when are those recertifications due? Is it rolling or is it a single deadline?
Sorry, what's that again?
The
The research, they're rolling out, like, it depends upon your research date. I think that they have till next June. I think it's till next
Till
June.
next
It could be a
June.
little bit
Okay.
later.
All right.
So
So
we're
that's
like,
more of a
we're
long-term
getting
project than
towards
like
the
an
midpoint.
urgent. Okay.
December would be the half, by then the 4.5, whatever.
So wait, when you say grassroots, what were you thinking exactly?
Well, what I mean grassroots, I mean, it's to me, we're grassroots. In other words, we're reaching
Right.
out to people in the community.
Mm.
That's what I mean by grassroots.
Because if they're getting they're already getting mailers from the government, and like the problem with that, if I remember what you've said in the past, is that people get a lot of mail, and we've kind of learned to ignore mail because most of what we get in the mail is junk. So simply like mailing people something is not going to be effective. Did you
Correct.
have any ideas on what would be an effective way to reach people?
Well, I think again, when Bruce and I met with her on Friday, she's actually she's actually a marketing person.
Mhm.
She's not a social worker, which is interesting. So that's why they hired her. And maybe we can brainstorm with her. I mean, on Friday, Bruce and I brainstormed with her. We gave her some ideas, and she had some ideas. So maybe the idea would be, kind of go over it for the committee and anybody else who wants to show. And then from there, we can kind of like, what's the best way to reach your neighbors, your friends? What could we do as a community board to educate the people here about the importance of this, and not to throw the envelope out when you get the research?
Sure. Okay, so back to what Bruce had thrown me. What I was talking about previously was I would like to continue my senior fraud project. I sent along something which was a talk which is going on. I think it either just happened or is about to happen. So I don't think there's something that needs to happen now because, you know, I certainly don't want to duplicate the efforts of the Consumer Protection Agency. But Bruce brought up the idea of also doing like a, you know, Fraud 102, which I thought was a good idea. And I would like to do an in-person presentation. You know, I know my mother-in-law, she's 82. I never worry about her with scams, but I know she doesn't have internet. So I would also like to be able to reach those kind of people who don't have internet, and to give a presentation that's accessible to people like that. So that's something that I would like to do in the future. And possibly maybe expand it a little bit beyond a talk. I don't know if this is outside the purview of the committee, but I know that another way to prevent it is to reach people when they're buying gift cards, because that is one of the most common ways for scammers to get money from people. And a lot of stores in our district sell gift cards. And there was a movement a while back to put up signs at the little displays where they sell gift cards. I've noticed those signs they've gotten so small and so high, and they're really not designed to reach seniors. I didn't know if that was something that we could address. I'm not sure if we could do it with like the big chains like CVS or anything, but maybe with the smaller stores, if that's something we could maybe work with the Chamber of Commerce on. I know we're not exactly in their good graces right now, but I didn't know if that was within our purview. That's something I think they could do a lot of good in terms of reaching people like at that stage when they're about to buy those. So those were some ideas.
Sounds good. I know that we have disagreements on certain issues with the Chamber of Commerce, but I don't know that I don't know that on a particular issue where we're both on the same page that they're
Right.
not working with us. And also I, you know, when the committee when the committee put this program together a couple of years ago, we were relied on the DA's office to put the program together. I don't know if the DA's office has any information for you about that, but that might be a good question.
Sorry.
I'm done.
I know that the talk recently has been given by the Consumer Protection Agency for New York City. I think that might be another good resource. And the Federal Trade Commission, where I did my law school clerkship, also has a lot of good resources and a lot of free resources, ones that we could provide to local libraries and any nonprofits that might be interested in having, you know, any place that's just going to have things that they, you know, stacks of flyers and information that could be useful to the community. I'm happy to just get those materials and provide them anywhere that you guys think would be a good place. I certainly think the libraries would be a good place to hand things like that out. They have them in English and Spanish. They have materials in other languages, although they're more specific to the kind of scams that specifically target immigrants, like calling card scams and things like that, not the kind of general materials that I think would be most useful here. So that's another thing that I think could be useful. I'll get the materials, and anywhere that you guys think would be, you know, receptive to just providing them, I will just give stacks of materials to each that they could have to give out to seniors.
No, I think that's a good project. There's all those senior centers. I don't know if they have these materials or not, but that's certainly worth going around to finding out if they do, and supplying them with the materials and the information if they don't have it. That's something that's worthy of our time, I think.
Okay.
Especially if it's worth.
I'll move forward with getting those materials if you want me to, and then
Yeah.
we can move from there. Okay.
I think so.
LT, something's been happening again. I get involved in some of these scams. What I'm starting to notice, and tell me if this is other people have noticed this. I get texts, like kind of like blind texts, kind of like saying, "Hi, how are you today?"
Yes.
Okay, and then it's like, you respond and you say, "Who are you?"
Don't respond.
It's like they're trying to engage you.
Right.
Yeah,
And
wrong number
it's
scams
clearly to me a
are out.
scam.
Yeah, don't respond. You're gonna get naked pictures, Mark.
I'm sorry.
You're gonna get naked pictures.
Probably that's coming, but I
Yeah,
think
don't
now as
respond.
soon as I get hi, how are you, I delete it.
Yeah. The wrong number scam is huge. For the most part, if you get a text from someone who acts like they already know you from a number that you don't recognize, I would say that the odds are extremely high that it's a scam. So I just would not respond back. If it's someone who knows you and is trying to reach you, they'll try again. Is my line of thinking personally. That's not legal advice, but I'm not your lawyer, but that would be my line of thinking personally. But yeah, that is extremely high. You'll get a lot of wrong number scams that are like calling you by a very specific name, like hi Marcy, are we on for our tennis lesson next week?
Right.
That's absolutely going to be a scam. Something that's very specific. They're trying to
I've got,
cross
"Hi
you.
Joe, how are you today?" And you respond, "This is a Joe." Like, "So who is this?"
Yeah, no, they're trying to engage you. And when you respond, it just validates that first of all that it's a legitimate number and that it's a cell phone number. And second of all, that it's that you're somebody who will engage and respond. So the best practice in that is to just ignore any text messages from a number that you don't recognize.
Right.
There are some good programs that can block spam texts, but they don't catch those by and large because they look so innocuous. They get through the spam filters. Yeah, those are on the rise, and they are largely going to be cam girls. It's largely going to be like romance scams, more or less. Some of them are going to be crypto scams, but yeah, you're going to get some not safe for work pictures. A lot of them, some of them are just skimpy clothes, but yeah, be very careful about that.
No, I guess I'm using that because I'm sure I'm not the only one that get these, and I think
Oh
it's
no,
important,
no, those
especially some of the folks that, some of the older folks and some of the folks in our community, they're lonely and they get this, "Hi, how are you today?" They may start engaging. So I think that's why what LT is suggesting is great in terms of kind of getting the word out. And these scams, they get more and more creative as they unfold. So yeah, I think it's a great topic.
Yeah. I just generally speaking, I don't respond to any texts from any number I don't recognize. I don't pick up the phone from any. I have a call screener that answers my phone for me. It's built in with the Pixel phone, which I recommend because it has a lot of those features just sort of built in. But yeah, the more you validate that your phone number is legitimate and that you're someone who engages, not even someone that's scammable, someone just that engages, the more you're just going to get added to more lists. So yeah, it's difficult. It's very difficult, and it's just going to get worse until the Federal Trade Commission, not the Federal Trade Commission, until the FCC blocks spoofing. And if the FCC ever gets around to blocking spoofing, we're going to see a lot of this just vanish in smoke. But we'll see. I'll get off my soapbox now.
Bruce,
Pat,
I'd like to say something on this.
please do. Can everybody hear Pat?
Yep.
Yeah.
Pat, can you hear me? I just lost Pat. Hold on. Sorry about that. That was me.
Okay. Am I in?
Yep.
Can everyone hear me?
Can everybody hear Pat?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. One of the things you can do that was done a number of years ago, like about 6 or 7 years ago with the 112 precinct, is that they have financial crimes unit, and they came to the precinct and explained how checks get washed and how if you use a Uniball 207 pen, your checks are in better shape. one of the things that we need to do is to have, if we're going to do something like this with phone scams and other scams that take place, at the precinct council meetings, which I'm on the board of the precinct council with Heidi and Gail Gordon, Joan Weston, Fran Miller, and Dr. Renee, is to work with the precinct council, to work with the crime prevention unit of NYPD, and set up in a place, in a couple of places over the next year, where we can have these meetings that are accessible to people. For example, the crime prevention would go to senior citizen centers and tell them about the different scams. At all of the precinct council meetings, the different scams are talked about. And they even tell you that person A in the precinct was, got taken for, $12,000, believing that their grandson was taken.
Right.
Now, with the advent of AI and people leaving their voice, on their phones, or once you're engaged, as it was discussed a few moments ago, in the next 2 to 3 years, your voice is going to be recreated so that it's going to be easy enough for someone to be able to mimic you, even look like you, and talk to somebody on FaceTime where someone else is going to believe it's you. So how do we get this information out? We got to start with the banks. We have to start with the cell phone stores. We have to work. Now, how do we do this in the community? Why don't we just, start with a simple precinct seminar where we can have the crime prevention unit of NYPD Taylor, Dr. Police Officer Taylor Combo, who's an expert at this, talk to people about the scams. Thank you.
The thing that strikes me about what you just said, Pat, and I know that this is something that Dr. Renee works on her committee, is how do you downstream the information quickly? We a lot of what we do is retail. We have these webinars, and theoretically people can hook into these from all over the world, but in reality they don't. There's 10 or 15 people at best. Right now we're 6 people. And then how do you take a live meeting in a police precinct, and how do you get it out in the world? You can get it out in the world. You can YouTube everything. You could and all that, but just how do you magnify it and amplify it, especially with seniors who, as you say, are not up to date on how things work and aren't always interested because they have enough things that work. They've gotten this far without knowing how to use AI, and they feel that they get the rest of the way without knowing how to use AI. So I don't have an answer to that question, but I think it's a question that has to be answered. Were you going to say something, Nisi, or just working with your?
No, what about senior centers?
What about senior centers? That's a good place also to make sure that they have the information and make sure that this is just a brainstorm. But if the 112th Financial Crimes Unit was to give a thing like that, then there's so much information out there. But then I guess you have to do press releases and video clips and all these kind of things. I don't know, but that's just something to work with. But it does seem like we do have something else to work on, is to continue our senior fraud, which seems to have not gone away. It turns out that our joining the community board a few years ago did not solve the senior fraud problem the way I thought it would. So we
Queens has one financial crimes unit. I think it's, if I remember correctly, it's in Astoria.
All right. Well, so LT and I don't know, so that I think that's to work with, and we're happy to use any resources that we have to move things along if that's a project you're interested in. Because really, what do we have but our own interests to pursue, and there's a lot to do. Sherry, did you want to? I'm sorry, Altia, did you want to add anything else, or
That was everything.
okay, Sherry? Did you want to add anything now, or do you want to listen to other people?
I've been actually thinking about this for a while, but it's not on topic with anything that's been previously discussed.
Let's see where it goes. That's where we get to brainstorm.
So this is kind of more of a personal nature. And I don't know if there's anything we can do with this or not, but there are seniors out there who, for one reason or another, don't have much of an income and are having trouble paying their rent on a regular basis. And usually, like either their children or somebody in their family would have to help them out with that. Um, I'm actually wondering if there are. Now, I know about Section 8, but Section 8 has its own issues, and there's also a voucher program through Section 8 that is on pause right now, so nobody can even get on that list. But I'm just wondering if there are like programs to help those individuals who are having or consistently, and basically it's not like a one-time thing, it's going to be a continuous issue where they can't fully pay their rent and they're relying on family members to help them out, um, and with other basic life stuff. And if there are those resources, can we find a way to publicize that to the wider community?
Isn't this an issue that Assemblyman Hevesy focuses on
Not anymore.
more than he's moved
No,
on from
he
that?
dropped it. Home stability support you're talking about, right, Bruce?
Well, I'm talking about home stability support, but I mean, and that stuff didn't pass because that was like an omnibus thing. But he does have expertise on the issues, so maybe there's some lesser things that can be done that he's aware of that maybe he's a good resource to consult. He was trying to get he was he was trying to, well, I can't say this without being I can't say this objectively, but he was trying to get legislation passed for home stability support, and it didn't get passed. My own, I will tell you my own view for what it's worth, and I don't have any right to say it. The reason it did not pass is that it looked too much like Section 8, and people who are aware of Section 8 do not want to expand that program. So that's my own 2 cents, and just completely subjective. But having said that, he does know a lot about the topic, so maybe he's a good resource to see what can be done next.
Okay.
I mean, we are getting some low income senior housing in the district where the Parkland Hospital is. They gave a presentation to the land use committee. It's a nonprofit that's going to be coming and building it. I don't think that solves the problem, but
Well,
it is a good thing.
it's like, for example, like my mother-in-law, who's been living in her apartment for almost 50 years now, can't pay the rent by herself, so we have to help her. But it's sometimes hard for us financially to help her as well as ourselves.
Right.
And I've been looking for programs out there to see what's out there, and I can't believe it, but it seems like there's nothing.
Yeah, that's something we could look into more. And like I said, you said that how HSS did not pass, but we but I thought that Assemblyman Hevesy might be a good place to start. Look into that.
Okay. And how does that work? Do we as a committee reach out to him, or would I individually reach out? Like, I'm not sure what the process is.
Well, I mean, you can. I mean, we have well, I people work through different people. I tend to talk to Kevin, there's a number of Kevins in this
Yeah.
small environment. But I work with Kevin, who's one of his I think is his chief of staff currently, but and other people work with other people. I hardly ever talk to the assembly member directly, but I usually talk to his staff members. I have that contact info. Other people might have other members of his staff that they find more accessible, but I can give you his contact info, and you can either talk specifically about the problems you're having or talk more globally about things you'd like the community board to work on. But either way, I'll email that to you after, or text that to you after the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anything else you want to add to the possible list?
Right now, I don't think so.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Pat, did you want to add anything yet, or?
Not at this time.
Okay. Anicia, did you want to add anything? I can't hear you. You're muted.
No, not at this time.
Okay. Mark, did you want to add anything to the list?
Yeah, I guess a couple of things. One, there's something called CDPAP. So what a CDPAP is, it's a home care program that allows you to hire, using Medicaid, it allows you to hire a family member, a friend, somebody who you trust through Medicaid, and Medicaid pays this person, and then you hire them, you supervise them. If they're sick, you recruit it. So that's called CDPAP. So it seems that over the weekend, and I guess I can see if I can share the article. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull up the article. Everybody see this? So it's says Save CDPAP Home Care. So these are all senators. These are the two senators who actually cover our neighborhood, Senator Comray and Senator Adabo. And then we've of course have Assemblyman Hevesy and Assemblyman Wetburn joined forces with New York Home Care to stop the closure of estimated 270 agencies that serve elderly Medicaid patients. They had a press conference, and this article goes more into the details about it. So I was thinking maybe we can invite one of them to come and either present it as a forum or maybe even just to this committee to kind of explain what CDPAPs are, how they operate, and why it's important to keep them open and why the state is looking to close them. So just another toss that into the hopper as well.
Is that too much of a contested issue for a community board sponsored presentation?
Well, it's our electeds, so I think we can ask them.
I think so too.
I mean, even if it's not maybe for the whole community, maybe just to kind of educate the committee. And then maybe once the committee gets educated, then maybe we can decide what to do with it.
Right.
Because I'm sure, again, I think it's important to learn more about what they are. And then, well, if there's anything we can do about it.
Okay. So, well, I can, like I said, I'm hoping to talk to both Kevin's and John over at there's a Kevin at Assemblyman Hevesy's office. There's a Kevin at Lynn Schulman's office, and there are John and Sean over at Senator Daba's office. I'm hoping to talk to all three of them on Thursday or Friday, but I'll add that to the list of things that I will talk to them about. And and you're right, it might be a good topic to discuss. I think our nursing home thing might be, our nursing home thing. I don't know, how quickly or slowly that's going to come together, and the intergenerational thing. Although we're co-sponsoring it, and I'm the one doing all the talking currently, is not going to work out that way in the end. In the end, it is going to be co-sponsored, and Common Point, or one of the other committees, is gonna help out So we do have some bandwidth to do some of these other things if we can get them together. So let's see what we can do with this. Anything else you wanted to add to your list, Mark?
Well, since we're talking about electeds, Councilmember Schulman, I found an article where she was promoting this. She was supporting this program where it was giving people coupons to go to the local farmers market, seniors, coupons to go to local farmers market to purchase food. So again, maybe we can ask Kevin or the council member to come to this again to this committee and discuss this specific issue about, because again, there was an article where she was discussing this.
Right. Anything else?
So Bruce, I could send you the two articles. I could send you the CD one, and I'll send you the article on the food for seniors.
Yeah, I know you sent me.
You can distribute to the committee, and the committee could decide if they want to come here, sponsor a forum, what they ever want to do with it.
Was that in the package that you sent to me?
Yeah.
Last week. So I have it then.
Yeah.
I have it. So what have we done? We have added to our agenda items going forward. We've added senior fraud, and we're going to try to get a program together. Either we do it directly, or we'll just try to see what the precinct is doing, and try to amplify that. We are trying. On terms of seniors paying their rents or their mortgages. Sherry's going to talk to the Assemblyman's office, and whether that becomes an issue, a personal issue, or something she wants to amplify, she'll just tell us that the next time we meet, and then on the Medicaid assistance, we'll follow through with the Assembly members and see whether we should get
No, I think we should follow through with the representative of the Queens Jewish Community Council.
Tell me again, Mark, what did you just say?
I think we should follow through with the representative from the Queens Jewish Community Council. And possibly invite her to come in to speak to the committee. We can maybe organize a forum for us to come and
Pat,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Mark. I'm having a technical problem. Pat, are you still with me?
Yes, I am.
So I had a problem with my phone. I was worried that I dropped you, so I'm glad you're still here. So, Mark, and by doing that, I stepped over what you were saying. So if you can just repeat that.
Yeah, what I was saying is I think we should reach out to the woman that we spoke to, the Queens Jewish Community Council.
That's right. That's on the issue of the.
Right. That's on the
Medicaid. On the Medicaid wind up, whatever. And then there's a separate issue about the relatives who can the
CDPAP.
Yeah, CDPAP.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sorry, guys, but I had to drop off. I had to go into another call. Okay.
I mean, we're finishing up here anyway. I don't think we have anything substantive to do except to set up another meeting time, which I don't have in front of me. I don't think. I don't know if there's enough. So it's October. It's the 4th week of October. 4th week of November is Thanksgiving, and we're not going to meet that week. If we need to meet, in the first or second Monday of December, maybe we will. But I don't want to set a date yet. But that would be the first or second Monday of December. I will send around an email. I might even send around an email on that tomorrow. But I can't lock in on that right now. I don't know if anybody else has if that's all right with everybody. That's too soon or too far away.
You're talking about the first or second Monday in December.
To have another meeting. I'm not sure we're going to need another meeting, but that's what I would propose to do. To do that first Monday in December. But I guess I would pencil that in, but we'll see how that goes. I probably by the time of the community board meeting, I would have a better sense of whether we'll all have a better sense of whether we need to have a meeting, depending on how everything that we've undertaken today goes. I mean, we've given ourselves some stuff to do, and we'll try to communicate, by emails and texts, and see if we need to do another meeting like this in this December to further things along. Did anybody else have anything to say about anything?
No.
Well,
No.
okay, I appreciate. I don't know what to tell you, Pat. Maybe Christine could help you in general about whatever it is that is happened with this system. I'm grateful for everybody who came. I